Hello scrappers and planet lovers, Tin Man here with another video. So I had a few questions from a beginner scrapper about the special types of aluminum heat sinks that come out of electronics. The ones that are going to be aluminum finned with some copper on these. And the question was, do I separate the copper from the aluminum? What are some of my tips and tricks? Are they worth more separating or bringing them in whole? So I'm going to answer those questions today. There are a lot of different styles. These heat sinks do come in different weights, size. This one, for example, you can find the old ones that are either cylindrical or circular, that have a really nice copper ingot inside of them. And I do have another video talking about other styles of aluminum heat sinks. And I will include the link to that video in my description. But today I just want to look at some of these older styles that have the copper on the top as well as the copper hosing that goes through the aluminum. So hopefully I can give you a little bit of pointers, help you identify the material, separate it properly, and help you answer that question for yourself if it's worth it or not to separate it or just bring them in whole. So here we go. Gonna start by saying, if I was to bring these in actually as is with the aluminum copper, these are gonna be classified same category as copper aluminum radiators. Currently right now, the full radiators that you find in air conditioners or dehumidifiers, those will actually go for about $3.23 a pound. If you cut the copper coils off, as I've done here, these will actually be a little bit downgraded, but still gonna go for $2.23 a pound. So I do remove my copper coils from my radiators, very easy to do, and I will include that video link in my description as well. But that is something that I do because copper right now, all of this copper is gonna be number 2 copper. And currently right now in London, Ontario, number 2 copper is going for $4.98 a pound. This aluminum is different from this style of aluminum heatsink because these are all individual fins. This, once I break that off, if I was to break it off, these individual fins would be classified as just clean aluminum, and they would go for about 55 to 60 cents a pound. But again, because it has the copper in here, I'm actually just gonna leave this and get the copper aluminum radiator. This one, as you can see, putting it up to the camera there, it does have a lot of grooves. This is a solid piece of aluminum, and this is going to be classified as extrusion. So extrusion is any type of aluminum that looks like it's been put through a mold or a press. And currently right now, clean extrusion is going for $1.42 a pound in London, Ontario. January 5th right now, 2024. Just before January 1st, it was actually going for $1.38 a pound. So it has gone up 4 cents, which is great. And these, I will remove the copper because again, that copper is gonna be number 2 copper. Very easy to do. All I'm actually gonna do is put an incision down this side, and that will pop out. So I am gonna just weigh this as is right now. So this too would actually be classified as dirty aluminum. Wouldn't even be probably a radiator. But just gonna see how much this weighs. This weighs 10 ounces as is. This one, 2 different ones, very small, but you can see putting those together only weighs 11.8 ounces. So not much weight to these at all, but the copper inside of these is a nice chunk. So just gonna very quickly show you this one. Got my grinder, as mentioned, making an incision down the side here. Now I'm just gonna pop that out, put a screwdriver in there, or a punch. There it is, snapped it in 2. You can see, look at that. Look at how thick that is, that nice copper. Just gonna weigh this on its own. So again, number 2 copper here. This is gonna be 3 ounces as is. These 2 pieces now, gonna be clean extrusion, 6.7 ounces, so almost a half a pound there. But again, I wanted to make sure I got that nice copper donut out of there, or copper ingot. Beautiful number 2 copper. It all adds up, okay? These ones right here, this one very simple. Again, another one, this would be your aluminum radiator. Not even gonna touch any of the coil in here, but I am gonna cut there first. I do wanna get that beautiful hunk of copper, so just weighing this as is, this is 14.9 ounces, okay? but want to just cut this right here as close as I can, get as much copper out of there as I can. Okay, there it is. So again, this is all going to be aluminum radiator. I have now 9.2 ounces. Okay, here is a beautiful piece now of number 2 copper. 5 ounces, 5.2 ounces there. So a really nice hunk there. There is no, screws in there or anything like that, but look at the size of that, the thickness of that. So again, beautiful copper. This piece actually right here, I could actually upgrade this. I could cut here to here because there is no soldering on this. This could actually be number 1 copper. This, because it does have some soldering, is going to be number 2. But nice little piece, easy way to maximize. Number 1 is a little bit more higher in price. It's I think $5.15 a pound. So not much, but it does add up. So there you go. Just pulling that off. There you go. Okay, so there you go. A little bit of number 1, number 2. Okay, so these ones right here, there are different techniques as mentioned. If I really wanted to, which I don't, but if I wanted to get this copper hosing out, I could actually make an incision down that aluminum grill. And again, I'm not going to do this for the whole thing, but I'm just going to show you for this video. It is a technique because some people will separate all copper and aluminum. So just going to very quickly show you, just make a quick incision. And all that I'm going to do now is I actually just have to make a V. So there's one incision down that side. I'm going to make another one on that side just so this little bit of plate will come out. Okay, if you are into this technique, you do want to make sure you have some type of drop blanket because this aluminum does get messy once you start cutting it, okay? But there are going to be a little bit of plates now that you see that I can start to expose the copper. So just folding that back, okay, grabbing my plates, okay? But again, I don't do this, okay? But there it is. Just going to quickly pull some of that out. So there is my hose that you see now that's exposed, okay? This would obviously all be clean aluminum, okay? But this hose is this tubing is very, very thin, okay? But there it is, and all I really have to do now is pick it up, grab it. There it is, just gonna twist it out, okay? So unfortunately, it does have still some aluminum on there, so I do have to pull that aluminum off. That is another reason why I don't pull these out. It's really not worth my time and effort to get that little bit of copper. Okay, but, I was asked the question, and I'm happy to oblige to show people if it's worth it or not. Okay, so again, very, very little tubing in there. So again, I don't do that for these techniques. All I will do is go for the top part. So the first thing I do have to do is I will have to cut off the coil here as close as I can. I will go all the way around it just to pop off the top. So there is an example. Here is the other example that I have. And there are 2 different styles. I should point that out. Some of them, as you can see, it's just attached by soldering. This one here, another one. This one has, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 little bolts to it. So this one here, I can actually just use an angle grinder and slice those. That will pop that cap off. But I do also want to try a different method using a heat gun to release that soldering. So I will do that in a second for this one. But again, if I was to use a heat gun for this, I do have to make sure that I cut these coils because if I don't, this apparently could explode. There is going to be a lot of pressure in that copper. So you do want to make sure that you will just be able to release that heat pressure, okay? I have seen some people use a torch, okay? I'm actually just gonna use a grinder just to get all the way around it. Okay, so very simple, there it is. Okay, so again, this is gonna be a copper aluminum radiator piece. This right here just weighs, okay, if I'm gonna put it together here, it would be 12.5 ounces. Now it is 7.95 this way. Okay, so we're gonna see how much I can get from this. Okay, so I am gonna use the solder or the heat gun for this one. And I also wanna last minute show you just by this one, taking the angle grinder. I do wanna I gotta remove that copper coil first. Okay, so. Okay, so there it is. Again, this one, I'm actually just gonna cut those little pieces first. Okay, I'm hoping that I got all the way through it. We'll see. May have to just put it in my vise first, see if I can hit it. But I may have to hit it again with the angle grinder. Make sure it's off. Okay, there could be a little bit of soldering. Oh, there you go. It's starting to pull up right now. You can see. Okay, so just got to get an area on there where it's exposed, which will be on the edge where it's opened. There it is. Okay, so just working it out. Just uncrimping it, if you will. Okay, so there it is. Just going to do that all the way down. All right, so again, maybe have to hit it with a little bit more of an angle grinder just to pop that off. But you can see right there, there is the little connection. Okay, so it is coming out. I'm gonna try this. Okay, so there we go, just gonna pop that out. All right, last couple spots, there we go. So, nice little spot there. Gonna see how much copper I've got, put that on. This one right here, there's the other pieces to it, it was attached to it. Just gonna fold that up. All right, so this is actually gonna be a piece of, I wanna say this is zinc cast. So zinc cast, 45 cents a pound for this. It could actually be cast aluminum. Just putting it up to the light. No, this is gonna be dirty cast aluminum. So 88 cents a pound for this. Here's my copper. I've got 1.8 ounces. So not a lot, but it is gonna still give me, some copper from the end of this. 5.5 ounces there. Okay, and the last one I am gonna try right here, the heat gun. Just gonna see if it works there. Again, I've seen some people use a torch, but here we go, just gonna see. It is gonna get hot, but I am just gonna put on some glasses or some gloves. Let's see if it works. So here's my last technique. And again, I actually can sometimes just put a flathead screwdriver under there. Someone mentioned that they've used a hot plate before, so let's see. Let's do this one. All right, not gonna do it the whole time, but just gonna see what I can do if I can actually release it. Probably gonna need some more time to that. If you don't have a heat gun, again, you can just use pliers. Okay, so not hot enough. So that's, you know, something that obviously I've got to look at, but it does, hopefully, just let's see if I can just even see, putting a punch, because there is a nice little opening. Let's see if I can just use a punch on this. It might work, might not. We'll see. But if I can get a punch out, there we go. These gloves sometimes don't work. So here we go. All right, so punch is in. The punch is opened it up. Okay, trying the other side now. All right, hopefully this works for you. Okay, and this one seems like it's in there pretty good. Okay, but there it is. I'm working it out. Last one. Whew. It is worth it. Again, not all of them are this hard to do. Sometimes, you know, depending on what you get, there's different styles. There we go. Whew, there's a lot of soldering on that. So there we go. Again, see how much this weighs. Again, they're not hard to do as mentioned. 2 ounces there. Okay, a little bit of a plate here. Okay, is it worth it on all of these? I don't know. Again, you be the judge. I'm not getting a huge amount of copper, but if I start adding it up, you know, there's 7 ounces. There's 12 ounces right there. So, you know, it doesn't take me a lot of time. I still have, you know, the rest of this. So it is going to be 100% scrappable. But again, this copper, something I would do on a rainy day, stockpile them for sure. Just do them all at the same time. So again, hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully that helped you a little bit with that. So yes, these can have some really nice copper into them. Some of them are easier than others. The ones that have the circular copper piece are definitely worth it for sure. And these ones, as mentioned, you be the judge. You can get the $2.23 a pound for these, or with the copper, or bring them in whole, you know, and get hopefully a little bit more for you. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully that answered the question for you. You know, hopefully those little tips and tricks help. But again, thanks for the questions. I look forward to helping people with this scrapping, working with this community, not only helping people monetarily, but also help reduce our environmental impact that we have, you know. So again, thank you for those questions. Thank you for the ongoing support. Please comment down below, like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Tin Man out.